Hey everybody, welcome back to Weenie's Guide to Horror. I'm Taylor.
And I'm Amy, and I'm a weenie.
And I am the guide, here to guide you guys through Season 6 of Black Mirror. What'd you think of it? We had to watch it separately.
We did.
And you were spooked.
Lean in. You are so... Don't try to get away from this.
Slowly making it up.
Yeah, I had to watch a lot of them alone. Which, like, okay, Black Mirror's not... scary, right? Like, it's not like horrifying horror movie scary.
Right.
But, I don't know. If you're like home alone and you're easily creeped out, it can get a little creepy. I still have beef with Black Mirror from the time I was like, I can handle one of these home alone by myself. And it was Playtest, which I feel like is the closest thing they've done to an actual like jump scare. It's the one where he's like play testing the horror game, so it really does become, and it was like terrifying. I was like, oh, this is all the worst things for me. So if like jump scares are your bag, generally it's okay, but it was creepy. Like I definitely had to put on like some like vintage Disneyland content afterwards, just like, okay, now we're going to bed.
That's funny, because I was at Disneyland when you were texting me like, oh, I'm going to be home alone, am I going to be okay? And I was like, yeah, I didn't find any of them scary.
You kept being like, it's not scary, and I was like,
So did you want to go through the rankings of how scary you think they are first before we get into any spoilers?
I have created a Weenie's guide, a weenie scale out of 5. And I've ranked 5 weenies, 1 to 5 weenies. 5 weenies is very scary.
Okay.
No weenies.
None of them are 5 weenies.
None were 5 weenies. I think we have a max of 3 weenies. Yes.
All right.
Jonah's Awful. I gave that one weenie.
All right.
Not scary. But I think and I'll try to keep this spoiler free. So if you're just trying to figure out if this is too scary for you, I will do my best to not spoil anything. The premise is creepy. Yeah. And the reveal of the premise was very unsettling.
Okay.
So I think if you're easily creeped out, also like, I think just like it plays into real life sort of anxieties around things enough that I would give it 1. Also just like trigger warning, that panic attack felt very real. And as someone who experiences panic attacks sometimes, that was kind of triggering, like kind of hard to watch.
I was going to put up images right now, but I feel like maybe I shouldn't, because that alone would be a spoiler.
Yeah.
But this one does star Annie Murphy from Schitt's Creek.
And like shout out to her, she does a great job. But
so cool to see her.
One weenie. Lock Henry, 3 weenies.
All right.
3 weenies.
3 weenies.
3 weenies.
So this is your highest, scariest, spooky.
This is a 3 weenie.
Okay.
Again, not like bad horror movie levels of scary. Definitely kind of gory. Definitely very creepy.
Okay.
Definitely kind of unsettling, and some stuff in there, some like genuinely like upsetting imagery that might stick with you.
All right.
3 weenies. And then Beyond the Sea is actually also getting 3 weenies in a very different way.
Okay.
For like actual just fears. Like there's just stuff in there that plays so hard into like, at least personally, some of my worst nightmares and things that I can't imagine are not people's worst nightmares. It gets a little violent, a little gory, but moreover, I wrote 3 out of 5 weenies, but like Midsummer kind of like that kind of A24. Like I wasn't like jump scared, but I'm just like deeply upset. 3 weenies.
Oh my gosh.
Maisie Day. Like 2.
Okay.
If you can't do gore, I think there was like 1 jump scare, like a flashbacky jump scare that kind of got me. But honestly, too stupid to be particularly scary. But I guess 2 if you can't do gore. But honestly, like a 0 for me, because I was laughing more than scared. And then Demon 79.
Yeah.
I'm gonna also give 2, but again, it didn't upset me. It's just more if you can't handle gore, proceed with caution. Like if you're really squeamish around gore. But I would call it a 1, 2 if you can't do gore.
All of these were 0 weenies for me. I don't know. I don't find them spooky. I just feel like they give you like a creepy feeling.
Sure.
But not like scary.
But I find that scary. Like that unsettling feeling often I find more effective than like a cheesy jump scare horror movie, right? Like to me it's a big marker of effective horror is that, like, you know, when I'm taking my shower before bed, does it like pop into my head and kind of make me feel a little uneasy and weird?
Yeah.
And like, to me, Black Mirror can hit that better sometimes, even if I wouldn't call it scary. It can be really effective.
Did you have a favorite episode?
I guess Lock Henry.
Okay.
I guess in hindsight, I guess, should we say, like, proceed with caution now?
Yeah, so from now on we can just get into spoilers. Yeah.
I liked, I would say I enjoyed pretty much everything except Maisie Day.
Okay.
I would call Maisie Day one of the worst episodes of Black Mirror I've ever seen.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you like that one?
No, I honestly though, like the premises.
Why are you trying to get away from this video?
The premises for all of these episodes were really interesting, but I just feel like all of them, the endings kind of weren't the greatest for me. So starting with the first episode, Joan is awful.
Yep.
I thought it was a really interesting premise.
Great premise.
And like, could you imagine, especially like with AI being like the big story right now and everyone's talking about it. It was just what a timely episode, right? But the ending to me just got a little bit too. It
got a little overcomplicated, and like
it
a little
didn't need to
pat
be.
itself on the back clever, and it was
Right.
like, no, yeah. What was so effective in this episode, again, like that scene where they're watching it, where she like finds it on Streamberry and starts watching it and realizing what it is, was so unsettling into the reveal of, well, yeah, you signed the terms and conditions.
Did you see when they were loading the Streamberry app that Lock Henry was one of the shows, and then they even mentioned it? It was kind of cool to see like a.
I loved that. I loved. There were some cool little. Was it that episode that referenced like the Junipero project? Like there was a San Junipero reference.
Right. I don't remember if it was that episode or not.
Demon 79 had some cool like flash forward references.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like there was such a strong 20 minutes of like finding it into sort of the reveal of like, no, you signed your rights and your likeness away, and the reveal of like, this is CGI generated. Yeah, it all felt so timely, especially with like the writer's strike and the pending SAG strike right now, and AI and those things being such a big part of what people are concerned about in the future.
The terms and conditions part reminded me of a South Park episode where they're buying new Apple products and they don't read the terms and conditions, and then it turns them into the human centipede.
Oh my God.
And they're like, well, it says it in the terms and conditions. And they're like, what?
I did, because my Netflix has been funky.
Wait, you read them all? The terms and conditions? Oh, I was going to say, what?
But because I'm like swapping out, because I can't just steal my dad's account anymore, I had to create my own little like sub account, which like, by the way, you can do for like $8.
Yeah.
If you're getting kicked off someone's Netflix, you can add a household for like $8 rather than buying your whole entire own Netflix. Just a tip. But I was like trying to log in, and it was like, you have to re-sign the terms and conditions. And I was like,
ooh.
like it was creeping me out.
Amy is awful. Coming to Netflix
today. I did enjoy that these first two episodes were just like a massive middle finger to Netflix.
Yeah, that was really funny.
Like I love that the show was just a complete like I wish that theme had continued completely of just like, oh, fuck you, Netflix.
I
like,
think that
bite the hand much.
Yeah,
amazing.
I think that Joan is Awful is going to be the episode that's talked about the most, like in just the real world.
I feel like it was a lot of people's favorites, and there is always a bit of a weird like, ooh, you really like kicked it off with the best one.
My favorite was Beyond the Sea, episode 3. And it was so cool to see Josh Hartnett back. I feel like we haven't seen him.
I like fully didn't recognize it.
Oh, really?
Until the very end.
Okay,
I think I was just so distracted by like, hey, it's Aaron Paul.
I recognized him instantly, and it was like, oh, what a nice surprise.
He was
I didn't know
great.
he was going to be in it.
He did a great job.
And it's been such a long time. Okay, so my issue with this, so I'm going to assume that everyone at this point in the video has seen the episode, was his, I don't know if they gave it a, what did they call it? It was like his avatar, but what do they call it? I don't remember the exact title.
They did have a name for it.
They said it once. Like,
Replica.
Is that what it was?
Replicas, yeah.
So Josh Hartnett's replica was killed along with his wife and kids.
Which, that was the scene that was just like...
It was too much for you.
I had to like pause and go make dinner because that was just so... gut-churningly bleak of, like, watching your family be murdered like that, being stuck. There were almost shades of, like, COVID isolation that felt very intense.
Well, what I was hoping was when they were sharing the replica of Aaron Paul's character, I was hoping the ending was going to be, especially when, like, the jealousy was starting and the flirting with the wife and drawing her, that Josh Hartnett was going to kill Aaron Paul in real life and then just keep up the facade that he was Aaron Paul visiting his family.
Yeah,
and just
that's where I thought it might have been going.
Yeah, and then the way the ending played out, it kind of just, like, fizzled out for me, so it
the
wasn't as
ending
exciting.
just felt a bit too much, and I feel like it is an issue I have with, like, a couple of these episodes. Even a little bit Joan is awful of like, I feel like there's become such an expectation of, like, we're Black Mirror, we have to have a big twist that people are going to talk about. And sometimes you don't. Sometimes just, like, telling your story and having the story be what you thought it was going to be is totally fine. And sometimes I feel like they were throwing a giant twist in to the point that it didn't quite make sense. It didn't quite feel like when he came back and Josh Hartnett had killed the wife and the child, it was just like, I don't know if I buy that. I don't know. Emotionally, it felt like too big a move.
For the final episode, skipping over to that one, Demon.
That one was fun.
69. What
79.
was it? 79. Close enough.
I like that we had two.
That was a really fun
past episodes with Beyond the Seas being set in kind of an alternate 1969, and then this one being set in, like, a pretty real, like, 1979 England, and, like, sort of the political ramifications of that. I thought was really cool.
I loved the fact that he was the guy from Boney M, because I love that song.
That was so fun. Yeah, that whole episode was a really fun mix of like, funny and fun, and then able to, like...
And you like that ending, right? Where they went off together?
I did. Okay. It reminded me a lot of Knock at the Cabin. But thank you, June.
Ginny. You like that episode, too.
Yeah, I think it did a really good job. I wanted...
She wants to say hi.
I don't know. I like that they just went, hi, June. I like that they just went with, like, how do you feel about Red Mirror? I don't know if you noticed that, but in the opening credits, it said Red Mirror Presents.
I don't know if I noticed that.
Yeah, so I think what they were going for there was a bit of a really upfront, like, this isn't Black Mirror, this isn't about technology, it is a story using kind of horror to tell, you know, sort of a social human story.
Yeah.
But it's not that. But what I thought was weird was that they bothered to do that. And I think I would have loved it even more had it not come after Maisie Day.
Okay.
Because Maisie Day also, spoiler alert, the twist is she's a fucking werewolf, which is not a Black Mirror twist. Maybe it's a Red Mirror twist, but it's like, I don't want two back-to-back supernatural episodes for a show that I come to for stories about technology. I think had Maisie Day kind of stuck to the Black Mirror formula or not existed, which I would have been fine with. I really didn't like that episode. I think if it was like one at the very end that was just like, we're going supernatural, we're going with something super different, we're like acknowledging that up top, I would have been even more on board for that episode. But I did think it was actually a highlight of the season in a way that kind of surprised me. That one was a lot of fun.
Overall, I really did like the season.
Yeah.
I just wish some of the endings were a little bit more satisfying. But I thought all the premises were really cool.
I feel like we were really divided. I feel like you're like, I just won't talk about it. Lock Henry.
I just thought it was predictable.
I liked that ending a lot. Well, because I think this season did some interesting stuff. To me, like, Joan is awful. Felt so predictably like a Black Mirror episode. Not in a bad way, but just like, yeah, this is Black Mirror.
Right.
The other four didn't.
It was pretty different.
Yeah. Like, Beyond the Sea did, but the setting was, like, I feel like Charlie Brooker was like, what if I did your consciousness in another thing, but it's the 60s, so it's not the same. They're in space, but it's not USS Callister. So I loved it too. I'm not trying to shit on it. At least up until the ending, like I thought it was actually. I was like, this might be one of the best Black Mirror episodes ever. Mm-hmm. And then the ending kind of didn't stick the landing for me. But I thought Lock Henry was really interesting because the whole episode was kind of like, this is entertaining. This is like a good like crime story, but it's not really a Black Mirror episode. But I thought the ending really pulling it together with like, again, another great, just like, fuck you, Netflix. Like, why? You know who you're, okay. But it, I thought it really pulled it together and making it about like the really modern phenomenon of like we have like the flashy true crime documentary about these things. And I thought tying it together with, I don't remember the kid's name, but the kid being like tied into the whole story he was trying to tell and really showing that like, isn't this great? You got your BAFTA and you got your... It's like, yeah, but a person's life was ruined. Like, people are dead. And sort of the callousness of that, I thought was really good and made it feel kind of Black Mirror in a really unexpected way. As opposed to Maisie Day, which went, werewolves! And I was like... Because paparazzi's such a good topic.
Yeah.
Oh, we had 3 episodes that were set present day or future.
Right.
Because Maisie Day was set in like 2006, I think it was.
I don't know. Did it say the exact year? I don't remember.
It would be whenever Surrey Cruise was born. Oh, that's how they set your time.
Oh, they did. Okay. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. But that one just went really... I was like, oh, paparazzi, that's such a great angle to go. And like, Zazie Beetz is so good. Like, great, I'm in. And then... Did you... I don't know. Was that twist not just absolutely bananas?
It came out of nowhere, kind of. But I did. And
it didn't do anything. You liked it?
No, I did like the paparazzi aspect of it. Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, let us know. First of all, if you've had a chance to watch season 6 of Black Mirror, and then also, what episode is your favorite? So your favorite, you're going with?
Yes. Okay. If you had to rank the episodes, real quick, what would you do? I would say, I'm gonna go. Ooh. Do you have an answer? I don't know why I set myself up for failure.
No, I would just say my favorite was Beyond the Sea, and then my second favorite is probably Joan is Awful. Those are my 2 favorites.
I'm probably going to go Lock Henry.
Okay.
Joan is Awful. Beyond the Sea and Demon 79, but it's close. And then Maisie Day.
All right, cool.
Subject to change as I think about them.
Well, let us know, you guys, if you've had a chance to watch, what you guys thought. And thanks for joining us for this Weenie's Guide to Season 6 of Black Mirror. See you guys soon.
Stay spooky.
Oh, yeah.
Little weenies.
What she said. Bye.